Welcome everybody
Hey,
to the Shut Your Mouth Lounge. Hey, this is the first time that I've been doing the show intro and remembered, oh, Addie's going to interrupt me. So I actually stopped for you there. So it fit in just nice. So anyways, the Shut Your Mouth Lounge, episode number 126. I'm Alex. The interrupting guy
it
is Addie.
it only took you like 100 episodes.
Pink will be here. You didn't start that habit until just recently.
No, I've been doing it for a while. I don't know how long exactly, but I've been doing it for a while.
So, Pink will be here at some point. We do not know when. Presumably he's being held up at work or something. I don't know.
He's being held hostage at work.
No, no. It begins. Alright. So, I got what's going up on my channel. Addie, do you. Oh, no, I don't have anything going up on my channel. Addie, do you have anything going up on your channel?
I don't know. Probably not.
Alright. And on the forums channel, there's going to be 3 videos this week. On Monday, there will be Planet Side 2 Part 1. Was Goku part of that one, or was that the two of
No,
us? Okay.
it was the two of us.
And on Tuesday, we will be releasing episode number 5 of Fighting Games R. And then lastly, on Friday, part 2 of Sengoku Basara 4. Part 2
Yep.
of, I don't know how many.
Part two of 500.
Yeah. Alright, so that's what we got coming on our channels, and we'll ask Pink whenever he gets on. So, Addie,
Yes.
Ghost of Tsushima. I did not watch. Soon told me.
Oh boy, you missed out.
Did
A
I?
lot of shit.
Soon was just ragging on it and shitting on it.
Soon doesn't like classic Assassin's Creed.
I mean, yeah, that's true, but he was just going
Soon
on.
jerks off to RPGs, so
Yeah, that's true.
obviously he won't like it.
His whole thing was like instant kills or something, instant kills on counters. So,
Yes, they are numbered. They have a stopgap.
oh, okay. And I assume you refill this number somehow.
They haven't dived into that yet, but just from looking at the gameplay, you can do instant kills on counters, but there's this like circle bar that goes down whenever you do it. So I've got to assume that once that goes empty, then you can't do it no more until you refill it.
What if you get more style points for not using the instant kill counters?
I mean, maybe, who knows?
What if there are perfect timing instant kill counters, and if you did those, it didn't deplete the meter?
Though that's the thing. Yes.
Oh, all right. Well, good idea, devs. Great minds think alike.
Yeah, like they did with the instant kills what I thought Assassin's Creed should do if when they bring them back. So I'm happy with that. You need to have good timing for them to work, but they also have the thing where with Devil May Cry where you don't have to have perfect timing. You just can't use the non-perfect timing counters as much.
There's like fuzzy perfect timing, where the closer you get it to the frame perfect, the bigger the reward is.
Well, from what I could tell from the gameplay in Tsushima, it was you either get it perfectly and the bar doesn't go down, or you don't get it perfectly and you do the kill, but then the bar goes down.
Does the animation look cooler if he gets it perfect?
I couldn't tell.
Because that's gonna be a pretty important part. It'd be cooler. It'd be cool if the frame perfect parry is legitimately just a classic samurai movie, one slash, and then the guy drops dead.
Oh, all of them are dead.
Oh,
That's why I can't tell.
oh man, but it's way cooler if you. It feels way more gratifying to get the one slash kill and like because you did it real. You did the thing real good.
I mean, there's also the thing of if you counter too slow, then it's just a block. So
Yeah.
it's still parries, but you can't kill the other people instantly.
I always think that's a bit weird when they have safe parrying like that. You know what's a game I really didn't expect to have safe parrying?
Yeah.
Dark Souls. Of all the games you would expect to try and make it risky to parry, Dark Souls has where if you fuck up the parry timing, then yeah, your character just kind of face tanks it.
Ah.
It's a very strange thing. Soon also had high praise for the stealth.
Yeah, the stealth in Tsushima is more like the modern Assassin's Creeds than the old ones, but that's because um well, in modern ones, there's an actual crouch. Like I'd say it's more like Unity's stealth than it was Odyssey's stealth.
Well, I know a big thing
So
for you is the social stealth.
yeah, which they can't fit into freaking Tsushima because there's a war going on and there's not a lot of people.
Also, it's like out in the boonies of Japan, right? You're not in
I mean,
you're not in
not
Osaka or
not all of
Tokyo.
it. Not all of it is out in the boonies because there are some villages and like cities from what I heard and stuff like that. But like most of it is either farmland or the Mongols are there and thus people are dead. So
Yeah.
good job blending in with the freaking corpses.
Well, that's a bit of a Metal Gear thing, looking like a corpse, but you know,
Yeah.
I like that those are the different styles of stealth right there. Crouching, social stealth, pretending to be a corpse.
But yeah, so that's what else can I remember that I really liked? Obviously I liked the look of the parkour.
Yeah.
I I liked how the assassination animations, some of them look like look like they on purpose made it look like the guy Jin is actually using a hidden blade, and then he pulls his arm away, and there's the wakizashi.
Ah, okay.
Like
So
I found that funny. Yeah.
are they trying to be straight up with the classic Assassin's Creed influences?
I mean, they haven't said it outright. Like they haven't come out and said yes, Assassin's we're trying to be Assassin's Creed. But that being said, when Odyssey was getting announced, they did say that they were shitting their pants, hoping that it wasn't Japan. So I'm gonna assume.
Oh, that would be really fucking funny if that happened. The one thing I heard is that they're going for some elements. They're taking like some classic free roam elements and trying to make them less video gamey. Like I heard Soon said that
Yes,
the way waypoints are set is just that the wind starts blowing in a given direction visually, and you follow the
yes.
wind.
So there's multiple ways that you can tell where to go, depending on the context. The like overall waypoint setting is the wind. You just go to the map, highlight whatever you want to go to, and the wind starts blowing that way. If you forget which way it was, then you can press the button and the wind picks up again.
Interesting.
So that aside from that, there's also animal interaction that leads you to things like birds can fly next to Jin while he's on horseback or just walking, I suppose. Birds can fly next to Jin and lead him to missions, and foxes can notify Jin to follow them, and then they lead him to shrines.
Okay, question.
You can pet the foxes.
No. I've got an alternative question.
Yeah,
Controlling the wind, communing with nature, is your character actually just Susanoo?
they haven't confirmed it yet.
He's from the very beginning. I thought, wow, that design's very similar to Susanoo from Smite.
He could be, he could be not. I don't know yet. But
That
they did say that there's not a lot of mythology in this game, so who knows? Probably not.
probably not. It would be fucking rad though if, like, at some point the Samurai Avengers assemble and they're all bizarrely similar. Like, oh, here's totally not Izanami. Here's totally not Amaterasu.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Also,
what if there is a sequel with a female Ghost of Tsushima and she gets guided by the sun instead of the wind?
I mean, it would be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was I going to say? I forget. There's also customization, which affects how you play the game. By which I mean that different types of clothing grant you different abilities.
Ooh, okay.
So that also, while you're playing, you can collect the dye flowers, and so you can color any part of your gear any color you like if you have the right flower.
Can you be a neon samurai?
Yes.
Oh. Okay, I was joking, but okay. Well, that's
Like
good to
they
hear.
like they showed off color coded outfits, but the fact that they're one color, it probably means that you can color all the different pieces, say different colors as well. So Rainbow Samurai is on the freaking on the table.
Nice. Oh man.
And then I also liked the outfits themselves as well, because like Jin can look like a normal peasant or a Ronin. Jin can look like a ninja, a straight up ninja, or Jin can look like a warlord.
Oh, can you actually put on armor, proper samurai
Yes,
armor?
yes,
Nice.
proper samurai armor is what is best for actually playing like a samurai.
Oh, okay. So that's what you mean by they have differences. I was figuring like they'd come with weird perks or something.
I think that too.
Oh, so does like Jin have like a weight rating that controls how loud he is when he runs and his ability to how quickly he runs, how quickly he parkours?
They didn't talk about that, so I can confirm nor deny.
That would be interesting. I think like having a weight system like that like makes you tankier but makes you louder would be a good way of balancing, getting stronger in combat but weaker in stealth.
Yeah, it could be.
And I assume
Mm,
ninja being a ninja pretty much makes it silent to full sprint, which makes it the speedrunner gear, doesn't it?
yeah,
Or what's that guy on YouTube who does the crazy stealth bullshit with Hitman and Dishonored? The guy who
I don't
must
know.
be some kind of fucking war god.
I don't know.
I mean, you must know the guy who does the compilations in all the stealth games.
No, because I don't watch stealth games.
Oh, dude, I need to show you this guy because you'd fucking love him. I'm gonna leave a reminder for myself in the text chat. Stealth dude. There you go. That should remind me. And Pink's gonna be confused, but fuck Pink. And I'll show you him after we're done recording because holy shit, you'll love that.
There's another thing that I wanted to point out that I keep freaking forgetting. There's also different types of bows, by the way.
As there should
Because
be.
yeah, because from the gameplay they showed, the samurai loadout used like a light bow or whatever, so it didn't have as much knockback and stuff like that. The ninja used a longbow, like a straight up freaking, I forget the name of it, but like the human sized bow that the
Yes.
Japanese have.
Yeah, very
And
similar to the English one as well.
yeah, and then when you hit someone with that bow, they bounce.
When you fire from the longbow, does Jin just yell, "Take this, you French bastards"?
No, but maybe.
Oh man.
I I also like how they had to point out that yes, by the way, Japanese voiceovers are a thing. You can choose them before you start the game. Then again, I do appreciate that you can choose which voiceover you want before you start the game.
Yeah, it's a logical thing to have, really. I remember a long time ago, I tried to watch Kutra, right, from the Creatures, and he tried to
Yeah.
play Metro 2033 in Russian. He was like, "Oh yeah, it'll be more immersive." And he got 5 minutes into it, and he was like, "All right, fuck this, back to English." But it's nice to have the option there.
Yeah.
I was about to ask, "Oh, are there no guns in the game?" And I was like, "Oh, what Mongols? Mongols. This is definitely
Yeah.
pre-guns."
A couple hundred years before the guns get shipped to Japan.
Yeah. I wonder if at some point you get to meet Hojo Tokumune, I believe, was the leader of Japan during the Mongol invasions.
I can check.
Well, he's the leader in Civ 6, and he's themed around, the divine winds and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, with it being the Mongols, does the game focus a lot on horse-to-horse combat?
I can tell from what they showed off, maybe, but
Man, Mongols ain't Mongols without fucking skirmish cavalry. Dudes on horses with bows. Turns out, pretty hard to beat sometimes. A lot of Eastern Europe got to see that. A lot of the world really got to see that.
yeah. I mean, we got to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's a good thing they never really figured out big boats.
Apparently, the emperor at the time was Emperor Kameyama.
Ah, okay. I think
and
then it would have been Hojo that kicked them out.
yeah, Hojo was a commander.
Ah, that makes sense. Now the Mongols pretty much didn't make any progress at all, anyways, though, right? Which is why it's set on the island of Tsushima.
Yeah, because they took over some of Tsushima and then tornadoes
Yep.
twice.
I'll bet you anything the final boss fight of the game is you versus some Mongol Khan as there are fucking hurricanes going around you. Or tsunamis,
The
excuse
fi-
me.
the final the final boss is a large hurricane with arms.
No, no. They beat the Mongols. You are the hurricane.
Right.
Alright. Anything else?
Mm, I can't freaking remember. They did show that you can do activities aside from killing people and just walking around too, because you can play the flute. They
Ah,
showed that off.
yes. Can you play golf?
I don't think that was invented yet. At least not in Japan.
But what about that taunt and for honor, though? Anyways, carry on.
No, I think I'm finished.
Alright. You didn't do anything else this week?
Bloody hell. I don't think I have.
Jesus Christ, the forest really did take up your fucking time, didn't it?
It took me 2 days to finish it. Anything it, dude.
Yeah, no fucking kidding, Jesus. Boy, was there any pressure on you from Mike there? Oh boy, oh god, I was really hoping he wouldn't try and fucking drench that up, and then he did anyways.
Yeah,
Oh,
probably off recording topic.
I mean, he fucking sure, whatever. And as for what I did this week, well, let's see. Well, since it's we're still in the build up to the next Warhammer DLC, I was
I don't know why I thought you was going. Freaking, you were going to start the sentence. Since we're in the build up to the next war.
since we're in the build up to World War III, I've went ahead and started stockpiling food
Yeah, and toilet paper.
and toilet paper. Oh man, I mean, I know everybody's supposed to be amazed by the fact that toilet paper is one of the things that's rare during a pandemic. I'm not surprised by that at all. Asses need be wiped.
Yeah.
Is your plan like when a pandemic happens, you're planning to just stop shitting?
Yes, just so it's shut.
Oh yeah, yep, that won't cause any problems at all. There, just walk around with a dirty ass all the time because exactly what your immune system needs during a disease-based pandemic is to have to try and deal with the fact that you've got shit in your ass the entire time.
Yeah.
That totally won't cause any problems.
None at all.
And when you want to be locked in with your family for like 2 or 3 months, you
You want to
definitely
be
want to.
smelling of shit.
Yeah, you definitely want to reek of shit all the time. Oh man. Anyway, so yeah, during the build up to World War Warhammer 2, I just looked over stats and played around with that battles and a whole lot and did a whole lot of experimenting. Basically labbing. I'm so bad about labbing. I really am. Every fucking game that offers a capability for labbing, I spend more time labbing than playing the actual fucking games. You know how much time I put into actually playing Uniclear?
2 minutes.
Probably under 20 minutes in survival
Nice.
mode, and that's it. However, I have probably put at least 4 or 5 hours into practice mode by now. Oh, fuck. It just goes like that. It does.
Meanwhile, I still just use the freaking arcade mode as practice mode because why not? it, like we've explained this, or I've explained this a couple of times, but like I feel like it's better to learn and figure out shit and try shit out in is outside of a vacuum, like where it's not the perfect setups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because you're never gonna get perfect in an actual fight. So You might as well just get it to adapt on the fly.
Other than that, what I did this week, I put in some time with Civ 6, but I should save that for when Pink arrives, if he arrives. And I got to watch 2 movies, I think? Yeah, two movies, I think. Yeah, 2. And they were both horror films. One was Pan's Labyrinth, or, actually, what was the Spanish title? Like, El Laberinto del Fauna, or something like that. But anyways, yes, Pan's Labyrinth, the movie that pretty much made Guillermo del Toro big over here in the States. It is a kind of horror fairy tale movie set during the Spanish Civil War and World War II. Which basically revolves around a little girl whose life is shit because her mother married a fascist captain. Surprise, surprise, he's kind of a piece of shit. So she instead starts chasing a fairy tale myth that she is a long-forgotten princess. And for a while they kind of egg on the idea that perhaps it... Well, they never really egg on the idea that it might be fake. They never outright confirm that it's real. But they never really do that movie thing of like, but what if it's all in her head, though?
Yeah, but what if she's in a coma?
This is all in the dying dreams of a little autistic boy holding a snow globe. All of it.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. It's hilarious because that just keeps expanding because TV shows keep fucking crossing over. It's all in the head of that one child. All of it. How fucking creative can one kid be?
I don't know, dude. I'm juggling like 15 different creative endeavors at the same time.
Yeah, but
And not
not
making any
300.
progress on any of them.
Not 1,500.
Definitely not 1500.
All at once. That small child is actually a god. There exists a universe of its own within that snow globe, including Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, and all the DC superhero shows. Fuck. Oh, man. Now, what was I talking about? Oh, right, Pan's Labyrinth. So, yeah. It's a pretty solid horror movie when it tries to be a horror movie. You've definitely seen the Pale Man from that movie. You've heard of Pan's Labyrinth, yes?
I think so, yeah.
And you've seen the weird, skinny, yellow guy with, like, flabby skin, and he's got eyeballs in his hands?
Yes.
Yes, it's that movie.
I see.
And, yeah, I always wondered why that guy was famous, because he didn't seem that special, but it's a very central scene in the movie, and they do a very solid job of building it up as horror. They do a very good job with setting up the stepfather as a horrible monster villain, which isn't a huge surprise. He's a fascist. And what's something else I can say? The acting's pretty solid all around. One thing that cracked me up, though, was at one point she runs into, the fawn, right? And the fawn, everybody speaks Spanish because it's a Spanish film, of course. And the fawn comes up and starts speaking Spanish. And my brain goes, oh, that's convenient that the mythical creature speaks Spanish, isn't it? And then my brain goes, hey, dumbass, there are countless fantasy and sci-fi movies in English where the aliens or monsters or gods just conveniently know how to speak English, and you didn't think twice about that, did you? So it's funny seeing a fantasy movie in another language, in that way.
Yeah.
The special effects were very good for the most part. Some of the CG did not age well. Amusingly enough, there were parts where you could tell they knew the CG was bad. There's one particular bit where there's like a plant baby, and it has to move close to the camera for a certain shot that Guillermo wanted. But at the same time, the CG on the baby's pretty crap. So they just depth of field the shit out of it. So it's just a blur.
I see.
I appreciate that they use that, to cover it up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got Doug Jones in a fucking crazy skin suit again, and Doug Jones always does incredible at that job. Have you watched the Hellboy series?
I've seen the first one.
Right, so you remember the Fish Man?
Maybe.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro loves that guy and puts him in freaky suits in all of his movies. He also played the Fish Man in Shape of Water, the movie about a woman fucking a fish. Woo.
Scaly porn.
Yeah. Yeah, boy.
It's not even that, like, because scalies are freaking like the reptilians. What would fish be?
Kanye West.
Yes. But then
Or Troy
the fish,
McClure. Or Troy
but the fish
McClure.
wouldn't the fish wouldn't satisfy Kanye because he likes fingers up his ass or whatever.
Yep. I like the
Anyway,
Simpsons and South Park both have celebrity joke characters whose main joke is that they want to fuck a fish. Simpsons unfortunately did have to retire theirs though after the voice actor passed. Or didn't pass, he was murdered, but
yeah.
Can you say passed away for someone who's murdered?
I don't know.
I've never thought to ask that. Huh.
I don't know because even like I'm just unclear on a lot of these things because like whenever I see MIA, I don't read it as missing in action. I read it as murdered in action.
Murdered in action.
Because killed in action to me is too like is too little of a like it's too passive or whatever. It doesn't have as much baggage as murdered.
Murdered in action. Murder in
Because
action.
like
But it does.
killed to me is like I don't know what was stabbed 3 times and then left to bleed out. While murdered is made into Swiss cheese.
Well, I mean, they use KIA when they're talking about war and battles, though. And if you kill somebody in war, it's not considered murder.
I don't know. I don't separate war because I don't
Well, I mean, if we want
particularly
to get
care
into a
about war.
debate about the morality of war, that's an entirely different subject.
Yeah.
Also, Pink's here.
Oh, yes, indeed. Just as you were getting to talking about war.
We're going to move on past that. So, Pink,
Yeah.
Pink, you got anything coming up on your channel?
I think so. I'm not 100% certain, though. I'll have to double check that. Because I did not actually get around to recording anything this week.
All right, while you check that, I'm going to continue with Pan's Labyrinth. Pan's Labyrinth
Oh.
is... It's a very... I don't want to say it's an artsy film, because it doesn't just do shit to be vague. At the same time, you can tell this is one of those cases where Guillermo del Toro made it as much for himself as he did for the audience. Because, my god, is there no one who has a bigger fetish for fairy tales than Guillermo del Toro. All of his passion projects inevitably revolve around that. That and the Spanish Civil War. Which I don't entirely get because Guillermo is Mexican, but I don't... Is Guillermo famously spent a lot of time over in Spain? I don't know.
I wouldn't know. I don't even know who you're talking about.
I'm talking about Guillermo del Toro, director of Pan's Labyrinth, which I watched this week.
I see.
You would
Didn't he also
The
get,
name
like,
is
freaking Death
familiar.
Stranding?
I've definitely never seen Pan's Labyrinth.
He did Hellboy, which was good, Pacific Rim, which was trash, and Shape of Water, which was about fucking a fish.
Ah, yes.
Wasn't he also supposed to do freaking like Silent Hills?
Yes.
Am I mixing him up?
Yes, he was a part of Silent Hills, as well as Death Stranding.
All right.
And I believe he also was supposed to be the original director of the Hobbit trilogy, but they almost immediately fired him and replaced him with Peter Jackson because he wanted to egg on the fairy tale idea. Even though J.R.R. Tolkien also egged on the fairy tale idea in the original Hobbit books, but... I mean, Guillermo del Toro is not a perfect director. Like I've said, Pacific Rim was trash. But I mean, fuck, I would hope that anything would be better than what we got. I hate those movies. Hate them. Anyways, so yeah, Pan's Labyrinth is an alright movie. I don't think it's as great as people make it out to be. Very few movies are. But it's a pretty solid movie. With that said, I have heard that the marketing campaign for it back in the day was apparently quite controversial. Because the movie was marketed as, hey, it's a whimsical fairy tale movie about a young Spanish girl in the woods.
And
That's how they
hentai.
marketed it to the English audiences. That movie is rated R. Pink, you've seen The Pale Man, right? The weird, skinny, yellow-skinned guy with, like, droopy flesh, and he's got eyeballs in his hands.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's from Pan's Labyrinth.
Ah.
Pan's Labyrinth is
I
also...
always figured there was some sort of live-action Hercules that I'd never seen.
No. The movie is also partially about the Spanish Civil War and the rise of fascism in Spain. And the movie's main antagonist is the girl's stepfather, who is a fascist captain, who is murdering countless innocent people in the countryside on suspicion that they may be communists. And there's a graphic, very, very graphic scene of him beating a young man to death with a beer bottle. And you graphically see the boy's face get smashed in.
Ooh.
Whimsical fairy tales for kids, folks. The other film that I got to watch this week was Candyman. And, yeah, I liked it a lot better, honestly. I know that, like, classic 90s horror is just kind of seen as schlock and inferior to artsy horror like what Guillermo del Toro does, but I mean, it was scarier. I was more interested in the characters. I was more interested in the story they were trying to tell. Do I think it has the artistic integrity of Pan's Labyrinth? No, but I think it's better, honestly. So, have either of you guys watched... Now, why would I ask if you guys have watched Candyman?
We don't watch movies.
Not only do you not watch movies,
I
can't see either of you guys being into classic slasher flicks.
No, absolutely not. Scary movies scare me, obviously.
I like psychological shit, definitely not slasher stuff.
Candyman's partly psychological, partly. It's very interesting because they're taking a classic Clive Barker story and putting a whole different spin on it. The original Clive Barker story was kind of about, they called it like urban decay. The idea that human life is degrading and human society is degrading and going more savage because we're moving into cities or something like that. It's basically Clive Barker saying, I'm scared of city people. Because the people it's set in England, by the way, and in Clive Barker's original story, Candyman was a white Englishman, which is a very important part of the detail here. And the white poor people are portrayed as evil and suspicious because they build up the myth of the Candyman, which makes him real. And he goes around killing people. The movie gets a little bit of those elements, but it's pretty much entirely different. Candyman is still a mythical figure that is built up by the community, but rather than being revered, he's feared. And rather than being a poor white English community, it's a poor black American community. So you can already tell they're going to try and make it more sympathetic.
Right.
And the people are not... The people that believe in Candyman, where in the original story, the people who believed in Candyman were depicted as pretty much his followers, his religious believers, his minions. In the film, they're kind of portrayed as his victims. That they make the myth because they're scared of him. Which is an entirely different take. And of course, there's a lot of dimensions to the fact that they are now an African-American community in America instead of a white community in England. And they also changed the myth, because the English version of Candyman has no origin. Has no origin story at all. Whereas the American version of Candyman has the origin story that he was the son of a freed slave who was his dad made a ton of money, so he got to live as an artist. And he went to go do some art for a plantation. And while he was there, him and the plantation owner's daughter fell in love, and he got her pregnant. And he was a black dude, and she was a white chick, so a lynch mob cut off his hand and stuck a metal hook in there just to torment him, and then killed him by covering him in honey and then throwing him into bees.
Ah.
And in case you're wondering, that's why Candyman's always got that pimpin' long trench coat he does. Because it's supposed to be from the 1890s. And, I mean, it's very similar to a lot of the typical horror slasher, villain origins. It's pretty much always like the guy used to be alive and then he died in some accident, died in some big incident, and now he's come back for revenge, right?
Right.
Yeah, all real shit.
Yeah, very similar to Jason Voorhees, very similar to Freddy Krueger. But I personally enjoyed it, and it casts a more sympathetic light on him than Freddy, Unsurprisingly, Freddy's not that sympathetic, considering he's a serial killer and implied pedophile.
I kind of want to research it now, what the origin of this trope in Western media is, because in Japan it's deep-rooted because that's basically most of their ghosts there.
I think pretty much the idea of ghosts is same in both the West and the East.
It could be.
If a person dies in a fucked up way, or they die without having done something that they really wanted to do, then they stay too long. They linger. They don't pass on to the afterlife.
Yeah, that's true.
That's pretty much just kind of a universal cultural idea, isn't it, Pink?
Yeah.
Like, I'd say probably even Native American cultures believe in it. Yeah, probably.
I mean, isn't that the basis for Silent Hill?
Silent Hill is a lot of bad shit happened in Silent Hill.
I know.
But I mean, yeah, a lot of classical American horror is built on an Indian burial ground. Though that may just be European impressions onto Native American culture,
Yeah.
Right.
But it kind of, I don't think they fully explore the whole race aspect to Candyman in this movie, though they will explore it when Jordan Peele remakes it. I'm excited for it anyways. They're bringing back Tony Todd as Candyman. It's been 30 fucking years.
Who is Tony Todd?
The guy who's always played Candyman.
That's a fun name, and I've never heard of him before, I don't think.
I think he's definitely been in most TV shows. He's almost certainly played somebody in one of the CW shows. I don't remember who, but somebody. I'll go ahead and look that up while I'm talking. I can definitely talk and look at a Wikipedia article at the same time. This won't at all cause me to make various malapropers.
Oh, yeah.
He's kind of considered a classic horror actor because, guess what? He fucking played Candyman. But, he also was apparently played a big part in Final Destination. I forgot about that. But anyways, I'm going to...
Which one?
All of them.
Ah.
He's, let me look up his name. Have you seen the...
I've seen all of them, yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to get his name.
Most of them.
I'm trying to get his name for you. And I'm having a lot of trouble finding his name. Oh, that's TV shows. Silly me. He's apparently been in video games, too. Okay, give me just a second. I'm just about to find it. Holy shit, this guy's done a lot of movies. Okay, he's apparently been the voice of Darkseid for a lot of superhero stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. William Bloodworth. And he's pretty much been in all of them, yeah. So, let's see. He must have played somebody in one of the CW shows. It's virtually guaranteed. Did you watch Chuck? I forget if you were a Chuck fan.
I saw the first couple episodes of Chuck, and I was not a fan.
Oh,
or at least
okay.
I think I'm thinking the right show.
Let's see. Oh, he's Zoom.
Zoom?
Zoom. Oh, did you watch Flash long enough to see Hunter Zolomon?
Yeah.
Was Hunter Zolomon black in the show?
Absolutely not. That's why I'm confused. He did the voice of Zoom, that's why.
Ah, I see. Yes, that makes sense. Holy shit, this guy has just been in everything for superheroes that isn't the big movies. Oh, here's a weird one. Addy. He provides the voice of the Vortigons in pretty much all the Half-Life stuff.
I could make a connection there if I knew which ones the Vortigons are.
The aliens that shoot lightning.
That doesn't narrow it down. Are they the eye people?
Yes.
All right.
Used to be slaves of the bad guys in Half-Life 1, and then Gordon liberated them.
All right. Now I know. Yeah.
All right, I've seen this dude in Psych.
Oh, okay. I saw him that he was in Psych, but I was like, oh, there's no way Pink would know that. I knew you were a fan of Psych, but I didn't figure I could just be like, oh, he's Detective Moses Johnson. And you'd be like, oh, yes. I remember perfectly. So anyways, yeah, he's a horror classic, and for good reason. He does a fantastic job as Candyman. There's a lot of Silent Hill-isms there. And I think it's probably because Silent Hill was inspired a lot by the works of Clive Barker, alongside Stephen King, and probably Junji Ito as well.
Yeah.
Silent Hill is a series that likes to show its influences. And you know what they got from Clive Barker?
What'd they get?
Blood, gore, lots of metal, and hooks.
Oh-ho!
All right.
Clive Barker is the guy who was known for that aesthetic, and boy is it all over the place in this fucking movie too.
The freaking tunnel.
Yes. Oh, there's lots of tunnels. Yeah. A big part of Candyman is a fucking tunnel in an abandoned apartment building.
that is changed just so he can't leave. He has to through the hole in the wall.
Oh yeah, the apartment block horror is a big part of Candyman. I think all but one of the murders in Candyman take place in an apartment block. An apartment. Yeah. And it's a little gruesome sometimes. I think it's mostly well done, but there are some times where it's kind of, shock, schlock horror. Like, oh, just show some blood and guts and, that'll work. There is one very, very excellent horror moment where the main protagonist, she keeps getting blamed for Candyman's murders because Candyman is following her around and killing people. And she always catches the blame because guess what? This woman got fucking disemboweled. She's covered in blood and she's the only one there.
Right.
So she goes to a mental institution and she gets put in a room. She gets put in the psychologist's office. And she says, hey, the Candyman's real. I'll prove it to you. And she looks in the mirror and just says, Candyman, 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 Candyman. And there's just a couple seconds that pass, and the psychologist is looking like, are you fucking crazy, woman?
There was a similar thing in Boogeyman. But it was the opposite, where the main character in the third part. By the way, all of those movies are shit, but
Yes.
but the main character in the third part is freaking out. Somebody calls the cops on them. They take her in, and the whole way she's like, "No, the boogeyman is real. He just had like if you believe in him, he kills you." And then once they reach the police firm, the policeman is like, "The boogeyman is not real. I'm gonna show it to you." He goes into the closet with a window on it for some reason, turns the lights on, and suddenly the boogeyman is behind him because he believed her.
See, yeah, that's the part I was just about to say, is that there's just a couple seconds, and then he spits up blood, and, like, there's this very visceral, like, they don't show you the wound, but Candyman appears behind him and rips him from asshole to neck with his hook. Which, by the way, the Candyman's very fond of genital injuries. I was surprised by that. But he rips him from asshole to neck. And though they don't show you the injuries, it's done in such a kind of slow, tearing, aggressive fashion that it's just freaky to look at. And it's a very well done horror scene. Oh, it also, by the way, one thing that weirded me out is that the movie ends on a very blatant, like, kind of sequel hook in the way that a lot of horror does. And I was shocked that the sequel to the film was not Candy Woman. Because the ending of the movie is that she succeeds in beating the Candyman and killing him. but she pretty much takes his place. But it cracks me up, though, because she is not summoned by someone saying Candy Woman, Candy Woman, Candy Woman into the mirror. No, her name is Helen, so they summon her by saying Helen, Helen, Helen into the mirror.
Nice.
And by the way, this movie was made in '92. This was before we really cared about epilepsy. Do not watch that last scene if you have epilepsy.
Photosensitive specifically, but yeah.
Yes, because holy shit. I don't have photosensitive epilepsy. I don't have any epilepsy of any kind so far as I'm aware, but shit, I couldn't look.
Yeah, sometimes it happens.
Pank, you remember Incredibles 2?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember the original cut before they finally fixed it?
Yeah.
That was pretty rough, wasn't it? I was in the theaters for that. That one was fucking rough. Shit.
There's not much you can do in a theater. That's like 10 times worse.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's a pretty solid slasher flick. I'd like to, at some point in my life, go through and see the first ones in every major slasher flick franchise, right?
Right.
I've seen the first I've seen the first Nightmare on Elm Street. It was alright. There are parts of it that have aged poorly, but there are parts of it that have aged pretty well. I've seen the first Hellraiser. It's not scary, really. And you expect Hellraiser to be built on Pinhead. Pinhead's barely in the first Hellraiser. I mean, I like Hellraiser for how high concept it is and some of the cool different things it does. But honestly, my fondest memory of Hellraiser is not the movie itself, but the running gag they made of it in Community. Do you remember that?
What is that running gag?
Shirley, despite being the conservative Christian mother, loves the Hellraiser films.
Ah.
It's one of my favorite bits is somewhere in one of those movies, like, someone talks about, like, I don't know, how Shirley wouldn't get their appreciation for horror movies, and then Shirley says, oh no, I love the Hellraiser movies. I've watched all of them. I thought they were generally pretty good, but they got a little weird when they went in space. Which is also another reference to a couple scenes where they imply that Shirley's had a history of BDSM.
Right.
Because Hellraiser is part of the horror is about BDSM, because again, Clive Barker loves blood and chains and metal. But yeah, Candyman's pretty good. I think it's aged pretty well, and I'm interested to see what Jordan Peele does with it. I still need to watch Us. And I know it's a controversial take to say, like, I'm interested in watching a Jordan Peele movie, because I know his political views have made him a bit controversial in our group.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, he's pretty much the only guy nowadays who does horror movies the way I want them, you know?
Right.
Firstly, the killings aren't all done by an invisible fucking ghost. And secondly, there's an actual fucking message to the movies, rather than just, let's kill some kids on camera. Fuck you, Blumhouse. Alright, so the last thing that I did this week, before I guess Pink will wrap us up this week for what we've done. But
yeah,
the last thing I did, and this is gonna be, I'm sorry, Addy, I'm sorry.
I'm drawing on the side, so
yeah, you can probably just tune out for a while. So I played a bit of Civ 6, and I didn't get that far in because I decided, I'll go with random leaders. Let's see who it gives me. Don't you hate when you your brain says, let's pick the random button, when your brain clearly is telling you one that it wants to play?
Uh-huh.
I was going in thinking, like, man, I really feel like playing Canada. And then I clicked the random button, and it gave me Macedonia.
Ah, yes, that's a complete 180.
Yeah. I'm going to play the most peaceful faction in the game. No. The Macedonia is, without a doubt, the most warlike civ in that game. Even the fucking Zulu aren't as warlike as Macedon. It's kind of ridiculous.
It's not impossible to play peaceful, though, because there was one I played where I didn't want to really deal with anyone declaring an early war on me. So to circumvent being kind of outgunned in the early game, I was like, I'll just pick Alexander, get his Hypasts and his whatever the unique horse unit is. And then, that'll just be my defense. And sure enough, everybody decided to declare war on me. I was like, okay, I've got these guys. Come get me.
There's also supposed to be There's also supposed to be an exploit using his unique building, the Basilicoi Pietas.
Yes. I don't remember what the exploit is, but I know there is one.
Because for every military unit he produces in a city that has the Basilicoi Pietas, he gets science.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody at some point figured out an exploit that revolves around getting him to just print military units to produce more science than should be possible.
Yep.
But other than that, boy, if you aren't playing an aggressive Alexander game, you're not using almost everything he has.
Yeah.
Like, all of his benefits are no worry weariness, produces units for science, gets full health on all of his units if he captures a city with a wonder, gets, culture and science inspiration if he captures a city with a campus or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the only thing he has for peace is that the Basilicoi Pietas produces science, but you still have to produce military units to get use out of that.
Right.
There is genuinely nothing for that guy to use in peace.
No.
Like, even what you just said, the peaceful strategy for Alexander would still be built around building a military for defense.
Yeah. It's the reverse war strategy. It's like, I'm not going to declare a war on you, but once you declare a war on me, your cities are mine.
Oh man, I don't bother with diplomacy if I'm playing Macedonia. If I'm playing Macedonia, I just eat everything except military city-states. Military city-states are fine because they help me. I'll make friends with them, but everybody else is dead. But the part that we really should be talking about there, they finally fucking confirmed it's not going to be a third expansion pack. It's just going to be several rounds of DLC.
Yes.
Starting with the Maya, who are coming out on the 21st, correct?
Correct.
And that's the same day that the Warden and Paunch DLC for Warhammer 2 comes out, so I'm definitely not playing on that day, but...
Oh, don't worry. I'll get our first impressions for you.
Alright. So the Mayans look pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Generally, your preference is for wide civs, I know, but do you think you're going to be able to pull off playing a tall civ with Maya?
I'm looking forward to the challenge. Because, first off, Maya is one of the civilizations I really want to see. I think with the announcement that they made giving us Grand Colombia, Ethiopia, and Maya, it's like those three right off the bat sold me on the DLC right away. Because a lot of locations that I really wanted to see return in Maya and Ethiopia. And then it gave us Colombia, which is something new and fresh and exciting.
Something in South America other than Brazil?
Yeah, something from South America other than Brazil. I mean, we got Mapuche, and they represent Chile, I want to say.
That's true, but they more so focus on the tribal origin. Like, they more so focus on the colonial era rather than modern-day Chile.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was a lot of civs located in the Americas and not Europe. And then another African one, but that's fine with me, especially since it's Ethiopia.
Ethiopia were my boys in Civ 5.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone that didn't want to see them return, so that was a good play to the fan service.
Ethiopia is going to be a fun one if they do it again like Civ 5, because we've not really got do we have really a strong defense Civ in Civ 6 yet? Because Australia kind of comes close, but
Australia and I feel like Georgia might have had some like defensive bonuses, but not really.
Right, walls.
I mean, they do get their special walls.
So, Ethiopia and Civ 5 was pretty much turtling the faction. Their whole thing is that the closer your units are to... Well, for one thing, all units just flatly get big combat bonuses if they're within your borders. But also, all of their unique unit does more damage the closer it is to the capital. So they were really strongly encouraged to play tall, so their military would be really fucking strong.
Oh, that's really interesting because isn't that one of the features of Maya are getting?
The Maya get better yields from their cities based off how close they are to the capital.
I thought their what was it? Their special unit. I want to say I think they were getting a combat bonus the closer they were to the capital as well.
No, I think they're just slightly better archers.
True.
And
I need to look back into that because I could have sworn that all their units were getting bonuses from being close to the capital.
the Ethiopian special unit was like World War II era infantry, so because the whole Ethiopia in Civ 5 was pretty much entirely themed around World War II, the Italian invasion.
Kicking Italy's ass.
Yeah, several times over. But I personally really dig that, because basically what you just said for Macedon, that is actually Ethiopia's playstyle.
Right.
I'm gonna build a big military, I'm gonna sit over here in the fucking corner, and you assholes can't do anything about it.
I like it.
I believe they also had the unique thing of, they probably won't do this for Civ 6, they'll probably give it a different unique building, but in Civ 5, they had a unique version of the monument, the stela, which, in addition to providing one culture, also provided one faith.
Aha.
So, if they keep that, then Ethiopia would probably be one of the early religion rushers.
Right.
So, Ethiopia's entire thing will probably just revolve around using your military to turtle and churning out as many acolytes as you can to try and take over the world with religion.
Indeed.
Grand Columbia, I got no idea what they'll do with Grand Columbia.
No. Not a clue.
I mean, as Soon said, it's probably just an excuse to put Simon Bolivar in the game.
Right.
In which case, they'll probably take kind of a domination focus, right? Because Simon Bolivar is pretty much the George Washington of South America, right?
Yes.
So they'll probably take like some kind of militaristic focus, though probably not aggressive.
Right. I'm definitely interested to see how they pull that one out.
Yeah, it could be really fun. Now, how many? There's 3 remaining civs that they haven't revealed yet.
I want to say yes. Let me see if I can pull up that little timeline they had up. Do 1 second.
Because they definitely confirmed that 2 civs that are already in the game are getting 2 Rise and Fall civs are getting extra leaders.
Right.
So I'm going to look up on my phone who the Rise and Fall civs are, because I want to take some guesses there.
Okay. Come September, we get 2 civilizations and 2 leaders. November, 1 civilization and 1 leader. January of next year, 1 civilization and 2 leaders. And then in March, we get 1 civilization and 1 leader, which probably not no reason for me to say 2 leaders because they're all just, civilizations.
Well, there might be overlap. Some Eleanor
Right.
Daguerreau's
It's
shit.
like the January one, the 1 civilization, 2 leaders. That's a really interesting one.
Yeah.
Like, will it be 1 civilization, 1 leader for that civilization, and another alternate leader for a current civilization, or will it be just 1 civilization with 2 different leaders?
I mean, haven't they already... I thought they already confirmed in one of the things that 2 of the Rise and Fall civs are going to get an extra leader.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that.
So I've got the list of Rise and Fall civs here. It's the Cree, the Dutch, Georgia, Korea, Mapuche, the Mongolians, the Scottish, and the Zulu.
Well, immediately Kublai
Yeah, Kublai
for the
comes
Mongols.
up. Kublai immediately jumps to mind.
Yeah.
In case you don't want to play the Mongols as war, I guess.
Right.
They could go with the guy who headed the Zulu that fought against the English. Because I don't think Shaka actually was the one who fought the English. I think Shaka was just the one who made the Zulu an empire.
Right.
I'm sure there's several for Scotland. There's probably a good couple for Korea as well. And there's probably a good couple for the Dutch, so it could that's probably anyone's
Yeah,
game.
it could go either way.
They could really
Maybe we're all expecting Kublai Khan, but they're gonna pull something different.
Kublai's been in so many Civ games though. It would,
Yeah,
there's already
that's why I immediately thought they'd be bringing him back. But at the same time, you make an excellent point that it could really be pulled from anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't think the Kree or the Mapuche because they're not that famous, so they probably want to have big money civs get the new leaders. But at the same time, like, we didn't expect the Kree or Mapuche to show up in the first place, so. So if there are, you said 3 civs left, right, that they're adding? Or 4?
There are actually 5.
5.
Yes.
All right, 5 dream picks. Go.
At the top of my list remains Mexico.
Okay.
I know I had mentioned we discussed this before. I wanted Byzantium back.
Byzantium, I think Byzantium is one of the bigger gaps in the roster, yeah.
I had mentioned Armenia, but we kind of ruled that one out just because politics. It would be interesting to have Armenia and Ethiopia at the same time, though, because those have very similar origins.
Yeah, they're pretty much the 2 original Christian kingdoms.
Yep.
I feel like Armenia is also kind of screwed because it's right next to Georgia.
Yeah, that is very true. I wanted more American civs. Not like United States, but,
Natives.
Native Americans, North Americans, South Americans, doesn't matter, just in the Americas, because we have so many European civs. We were discussing this the other day, and the Americas are kind of behind in that department.
Yep.
So I'd like to see more Native American civilizations. I really wanted I wanted the Navajo. I wanted somebody to represent more of the southwest of America.
Oh, the Navajo would be a very strong spy faction, wouldn't they?
Yeah, boy.
I mean, Iroquois are my boys, but at the same time, the Shoshone were one of the only civs in Civ 5 who could build wide really strong, so they'd fit really well in Civ 6. Oh, you know what? You know who's one I'd actually be interested in seeing them bring back from 5?
What's that?
The Indonesians. And there's a big gaming audience out there, so they could pull it off.
We have Indonesia, don't we?
No,
Guitarja?
Son of a bitch, you're right. I completely forgot.
I was a little worried there. I'm like, have I been like misreading something this entire time? I've played as Indonesia like twice now. I've played as Indonesia in Civ 5.
Oh man. Oh, my memory. Oh boy. We're kind of strapped for choices now, aren't we? Because they've hit pretty much all the big ones.
Yeah.
Like pretty much we just want one more North American Native American tribe, or just anyone from North America.
Right.
But with Gran Colombia being thrown in and the Mayans, then they're all going to be good for some country choices per continent.
It's like with that one announcement, we got 2 South American representatives, or at least I think Colombia is South American. I'm not quite sure.
Gran Colombia is South American, yes.
Okay. I haven't seen a map recently. I feel like it's right around Ecuador or somewhere down there. And
yes.
I honestly can't say with certainty where North and South America begin and end, but it's somewhere around there.
I would say the Mayans are North American because they're in Panama. Like, I'm not exactly clear on the cutoff point for North America and South America, but I'm pretty certain it's like Panama's the most southernmost North American country. Like, Venezuela is kind of the cutoff point,
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
In which case, not the Mayans, are another North American civ.
Perfect.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Jesus. I wouldn't expect Pop-Tarts to put up much of a fight, but they are. So, part of the whole thing there is, though, that there's been some parts of the gameplay we've been really wanting them to overhaul. And if it's not an expansion pack, it's generally a lot less likely they're going to make big gameplay changes.
Right.
Now, they did say they're going to be introducing new buildings for everyone. So they might introduce a new building that's like, oh, for every, every 10 tourism you have, 1 gold coin or something, right?
Right.
But I am really worried that they're not going to do a lot of the stuff that we've been wanting, like making tourism worthwhile, or making any victory type other than science victory viable.
Right.
Or at the very least, just making a way to stonewall other people's science victories so that everybody fucking gets stuck until the year 2500. And it goes to score victory every game.
Right.
Because this fucking game is built for science victory to be the only type people can really get. Fucking...
Why doesn't tourism go add to your gold revenue? That makes no sense.
Because this game was not very well thought out, honestly. The good parts of the game are a happy accident.
Right. It's like, there's so much more potential here that they're kind of missing out on.
Yep. Oh, man. Okay. So... I think we've just about covered it, haven't we?
Yeah.
Alright. So, Pink, what have you done this week?
Not much. I watched Scoob yesterday. Because it
Scoob.
came out yesterday.
Scoob.
Scoob. The new Scooby-Doo animated movie.
Jinkies.
Oh, okay, I thought you were just cutting it short for some reason. I was like, please clarify.
Yeah, the voice actress of Daphne she didn't protest the movie, but she did say that she's not gonna watch the movie because they fired her.
I thought they fired everyone off the original cast. Like, even Matthew Lillard isn't gonna play Shaggy anymore.
I don't know. Maybe I just saw her post on Twitter saying like, I'm not gonna tell you not to watch it, but I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah, that's very passive aggressive.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. It's a fine movie. It's not a good Scooby movie. And the fact that they did fire all the voice actors really, in my opinion, hurts it. Because Shaggy doesn't sound like Shaggy. Anytime he would open his mouth, it's like, this dude sounds just weird to me. It's like Shaggy's face and that voice coming out of it, it doesn't make sense to my brain. And now my brain hurt. It's like,
I'd like to see you put that on the little card at the fucking census, the first screenings, right? The director comes up like, what did you think of my movie? My brain hurt. It's genius, just like I thought.
Surely Oscar worthy.
Anything else?
Anything else? No, I don't think I did anything else this week. I played Civ 5 for the first time. That was a lot of fun. I think my favorite part about it is the loading screen when you load into the game.
Yes.
It's like very cinematic and I love it. And I hate that Civ 6 doesn't have it. And there needs to be a mod for that.
That was the roughest thing about playing Civ 6 for the first time in like 3 months was I forgot, 70% of the loading time is on a black screen that just says, loading, please wait. Because if they had Sean Bean there for the entire time, he'd finish up and then you'd still have 2 minutes of loading left.
Right.
Can I just say, I like Sean Bean, but he's not Leonard Nimoy.
Absolutely.
It doesn't help that they gave Sean a whole lot of comedic lines and where Leonard got like philosophical lines.
Right.
I'm sure Sean will get used to it, though, come Civ 7. That or he just forgets that they keep hiring him for these jobs. Oh, shit, I need to go do that again. Fuck.
How long was this contract for? 10 years?
The rest of eternity.
Don't worry, Sean, you're the voice of civilization. It's a very good job. Oh, man. So, Civ 5's a little bit different, though, because the Civs don't have as much separating them in that game.
Right. And, Civ 6, when I was first discussing that with you way back when I first started playing it and you hadn't, and I was talking about districts, and you're like, what the heck are districts? Yeah, going back to 5 where there are no districts, that's freaking weird, man.
Yeah, you just build buildings in the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was fucking confuzzled when you talked about districts. I was, what? What the hell's a district?
Uh-huh.
You're saying like, oh, well, I just put the district on the thing to get the extra hammers, and I'm like, the district? What is this?
What is this sorcery? You've gone mad.
So, out of Civ 5, who's your favorite Civ so far?
So far, I've only played as Indonesia.
Indonesia. Indonesia seems
Yes.
like an interesting one. I've not got to play them yet. Isn't there
It's
a whole thing like they're stronger if there's water between each city or something like that?
I believe so, and I want to say their first 3 cities that they settle on a continent other than their first home continent get a unique luxury,
Ah, yes, I do remember that.
and it can't be replicated or raised or whatever.
Oh yeah, word of advice in Civ 5: never build more than 4 cities ever, unless you're playing as unless you're playing as unless you're playing as a domination Civ or one of the Civs that actually works with building wide, like India or Shoshone. By the way, when you look at India's unique ability, it looks like it's telling you to build tall. It's not.
Ha!
India's one of the only Civs that's good at building wide because people don't take up so much fucking happiness.
I like people that don't take up happiness.
Yeah. Nationwide happiness is a game-defining mechanic for Civ 5. Gotta keep that in mind.
Oh, yeah.
Then
I'm really curious to see if I'll even get any use out of the Indonesia's unique luxuries, because it's like I've already got... I've probably hit 4 at this point, and I'm still on a single continent, neighbored with like England and France. So I'm not sure how Indonesia got into that picture, but here we are.
Well, if you're on Prince difficulty, you can probably get away with founding a couple more cities.
I don't think I just accept the blah blah citizens. I don't think I adjusted the difficulty in any way, so yeah, I should be on Prince.
All right. You just got to keep in mind that in that game, the more cities you build, it not only nerfs your happiness, it also nerfs your culture and your science.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a good time.
It's fine if the cities can keep up the science and cultural output they'd have anyways. But it's easy to forget about your cultural output. I do that all the time.
Like, one of my favorite things though from that game I was playing is the first natural wonder I discover in Civ 5, and it's friggin' El Dorado. Yes, I recall this natural wonder. I've spent many a day wandering the El Dorado amusement parks. Or national parks. Pardon me, not amusement.
Both.
Both.
Alright, anything else?
No, that is absolutely it.
Alright, then I believe we can call it here. Oh, excuse me.
Alright.
The Pop-Tarts. I couldn't hear what Addy said, but I'll assume he said bye.